Hey, good evening, everybody. Hey, today is October 24th, 2024. Ha, ha, ha. It's 8 o'clock, and I'm glad you guys got to be with us tonight. I think we really, I've been looking forward to this for probably about a month now, and I'm glad it finally has come to fruition here. Let me go ahead and say hello. Hey, Stephen Hicks, you were the first, babe. Cabin cage free. You're slow, baby. Let's see here. Yes, I am doing well. I hope we need some spooky Bigfoot stories. I already scared one guy tonight, so y'all better look out tonight. I'm on a roll. By the way, that reminds me, I'm gonna try to get Val back next week. He said something about telling some Bigfoot stories of. I'm not gonna give it away, but let's put it this way: it's got probably not the best endings that people like to hear. So, anyways, he said it's something about coming on for Halloween, and I will get with him sometime this week and see if he'll still come. And if he will, y'all look forward to that next Thursday, I hope. Anyways, guys, we got some guys out down there in Florida. My favorite guy down there in Florida is out camping, and he's doing a little expedition, and he's got a special guest with him tonight and everything. We want to, again, you know how we do, guys. We like to take you on these conferences, and you guys know I take y'all with me on my Saturday, Sunday stuff where I go out and walk around, me and my wife, and I want y'all to see and really kind of get the feel of what really happens on these kind of camping trips. I didn't get to do one on mine because I was kind of busy, but tonight's a good opportunity to so you can actually see what goes on. So let me bring on our special guest tonight. This is going to be Richard Farabee, BFFG Research, Bigfoot Research, and Brian. I don't know exactly what he's part of, but he's a good guy. I've got to talk to him a little bit so far, and I think you'll enjoy him. Guys, so welcome on Richard and Brian. Hey, guys.
We got to move this over back and forth so y'all can see Brian there.
It's good to see you.
Hey, good to see you guys. Y'all having a good time?
We're having a blast.
So far.
We're having a blast. You know,
don't believe, huh? Did you tell him what's written on the back, Richard?
No, I didn't. You're gonna have to stand up and show him.
Hey, man, I do that, you'll be looking at my butt.
What's wrong with that?
Well, hey, I ain't camping with you.
Hey.
Oh gosh.
Oh Lordy. So Richard, you went out starting out yesterday, finally.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yesterday was mostly because you have to check in. You can only come out here at a certain time. So it was after 1 o'clock in the afternoon by the time I got out here. So yesterday was really relaxed. It was mostly setting up camp and doing little things like that. I did some videos of the camping area, the travel in, some of the nature that I got to see and stuff like that. So I put that video out yesterday. I'm putting out a video trying to every single day. Day 1, day 2, day 3. The night stuff won't come out until I go home because that's all on SD cards. I got to go to the computer, do all that editing and stuff before I can get the night stuff out. But so far I got 2 videos out if anybody wants to catch up to what's been going on. So yesterday was really relaxed. I was out here by myself. So I am on vacation, so I want to enjoy it a little bit. So I sat here, did videos, moseyed around camp, got everything set up, stuff like that, ran into town, got supplies, little things like that. By then it was dark and, not big on going out in these woods by myself at night in case something does happen to me. There's nobody there to help me or call 911, whatever, So last night was pretty chill. Went to bed around 8 o'clock last night and it was quiet. I mean, eerily quiet. Not a bug, not a bird, not a breeze, just quiet. And slept like a baby. Really nothing happened. So, and then today, Brian came out. So today was a little bit different. We started. Did you hear that behind us?
I don't know what it was. No.
Well, you can't see it at night, but there's forest behind us and a lot of palmettos. I just heard something behind us, like something hit a palmetto. But anyways,
It's that orb back there behind you. I know what
Yeah,
it
it could be.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see an orb.
is.
So today was, of course, Brian's got to get set up, get his stuff taken care of, and stuff like that. We did go out to the research area. It's a pretty long hike. We're not young anymore, so we hiked out there and set up audio equipment. So tomorrow will be a good research day because we're going to go back to that area. We're going to spend, some time out there researching the area, walking around, checking things out, recovering the audio so I can come back here and listen to it to see if we caught anything overnight, and stuff like that. So tomorrow we'll be doing a lot more. We didn't spend a whole lot of time out there because we got a late start, he has a drive from Tampa and he got here, as early as he could, but it was still around noon. He has to set up. We had to get out there and get back before it started getting too late. And then we knew we had the show coming on. So we got audio out there. That was a key thing. I needed to get audio out there to run tonight. So that was prime. So we got that accomplished tonight. So
All right, but before we get to meet Brian, I watched your video today, and you put it in, I believe, a palmetto tree, and you was stuffing it down in there. I guess it looks like kind of like sleeves or
right.
sheathing or something or another. What was you telling Brian? Why do you do that? Was it something to keep it dry or what?
Well, it keeps it dry and it keeps it hidden, and at the base it's like a U shape. So you see it coming out, but at the base it's like a U shape. So I slide it down in there, so there's no way the wind's going to knock it out or anything like that. Now the microphone itself, which you can see the big fuzzy ball, I've got that zip tied to that branch as well. So even if it comes out, it'll hang there. You know what I mean? But we do that. Yeah, even Jimmy does that if we can find a palmetto like that type of palmetto, it's really good about hiding what we're putting out there and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I know you said something to him, and I couldn't hear it just exactly what you said, so I was kind of curious about what you said there. And that was pretty neat little show and tell, to be honest with you. I like that. But anyways, let's meet Brian. Does Brian want a last name or just Brian?
Last name is Darcy.
That's right, Darcy. How you doing, Brian?
I'm hanging in there,
So
trying to keep up with Richard out here.
did he walk you to death today?
Not quite to death, but he drugged me through the woods pretty good.
Now, this is not your first time being out there in the woods with Richard. Have you learned anything from him, or is he learning anything from you?
Well, we try to share different techniques, and not everything works in every situation or every environment. I think we're learning stuff from each other, and just sharing our experiences helps a lot. It can help us, be able to debunk things in real time or decide that they need more attention in real time. That to me, that's the biggest thing, is when you share your experience, it helps you be, quicker on the fly in order to decide whether something needs more attention or whether you can just kind of dismiss it for the moment, at least, and just kind of keep an eye on it.
Well, there's so many things uh, in looking for these things, camping, whatever you may be doing. Your different experiences. I call, people come on these shows all the time, and they think, well, I'm not really going to be this good or got a lot of just that little bit of information that they have. They don't know how much more of a help that is to people like me, you, Richard, or somebody in the chat room, and kind of letting them learn a little bit, even though it's just a little trifle thing to them. I talked to you right before the show, and you was telling me some things, and I listened for little things, and then it's not what I would call trying to judge or say anything like that. I add it to my little brain box up here, which ain't much of it there.
Right.
There's too much junk up there already. You know what I mean? So, what little bit you told me, I thought was fascinating, and it just right now, I've added that, what happened and everything, what you told me. is stored up here now. See, I can add that to someone else's story, and basically, I'm getting a composite of what Bigfoot really is, or what we assume to be Bigfoot, its habits, and what it does. Just everything about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Josh, I'm glad to see Josh. If I don't know Josh, he's from Ohio. But anyway, all right, Richard, where you at? Hey, I heard that name. Miguel, yeah.
Miguel, yeah.
All right, Richard. So what has anything happened so far? I'm gonna go with anything auditory.
And not so far. Like I said, last night was eerily quiet. I mean, there wasn't even a breeze. I mean, it was just very, very quiet. Um, but where I have the audio set up, we have caught some amazing audio out there. Spooky stuff that we would go back, me and the guys, and listen to it, and it's like, wow, I'm glad I wasn't there to hear that in person. You know what I mean? Very, very, very creepy stuff. So I'm hoping by leaving the audio out there again overnight that we do catch something out there. Some, even some walking. You know what I mean? Because you got to remember it's audio, so everything's got to be sounds, and you got to interpret those sometimes. And I don't, me, just because I hear something doesn't mean it is something. I've got to try to listen to it over and over and over and assume it could be something else. I try to debunk before I, say it's something else or something like that, and me, I don't usually call anything in particular. I think it was my camera. But so far, last night was just the first night. Like I said, I was by myself.
Yeah.
Tonight, we're going to stick around camp and everything and probably do a little bit of walking. We're going to take out the night vision and thermals and scan the areas. There's a platform back here we might go to. Well, we got plenty of days. So whatever we don't do today, we could do tomorrow. But we're going to use the thermals and the night vision at night. Those are, like I said, those are things I won't be able to put out until sometime next week when I got time to edit and look at it and, go over it and see if we caught anything or anything like that. So, right now it's just the daytime stuff. When we went out there today, what was really crazy was the hurricane did a lot of damage. The area we went to, I've been to, a few times, and I know the area very well. It was so different now that there was a moment, just a couple minutes, I got lost. Like, I don't know where the trail is. Then we found it. It didn't take long. I walked 30 yards into one day and said, yeah, this isn't it. Turned around, went back, and then found the other trail. And then we took it. It took us where I wanted to go. But when we got to the area where I'm setting up the audio, that whole area, I do not recognize whatsoever. The only recognizable thing there was the arch. Now this is an arch that's been there for a year and a half, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I let Brian look at it, and we went over it, and I showed him, and it's a live tree.
Yeah,
it's a live tree.
It's peculiar, that's for sure.
And the way it fell, it's surrounded by other saplings the same size. I say saplings because it's only about that big around or so. Which is small for a pine tree, but it's probably standing. If it was standing straight up, it'd be, I don't know,
probably 25, 30 feet.
25, 30 feet tall. But it is arched, and that thing survived the hurricane.
Mm.
It's there's some growth on it that wasn't there since the last time, some vines and stuff. But other than that, it's the exact same. It's the only thing I recognized out there. It's the only thing. Everything else out there. I even tried to go to the location where we found the dead hog. I tried to find the location where the other two arches that popped up out of nowhere. It wasn't there a week before. We came back a week later. We got two arches together, kind of like what I explained is like at a wedding. That arch where people get married under. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of that, a wedding arch, and it goes right over the trail. You can't even find the trail. I mean, you can't. Even coming back out, I got lost a little bit, and I was like, we had to go back and find the arch just to remind me where we're at. The whole area has just changed completely, So that's going to add a very interesting part of going out there tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Well,
So, but
you know just as well as everybody else might be thinking, with a clean slate like that, any kind of footprints, arches, and stuff like that has got to be new outside of
oh,
what
absolutely.
has got to be new, up to date. And we're talking what, within a day or two,
Oh yeah,
or at least a week.
and there's nobody out there. We went out there. There's nobody out there. So if we do find something, we can narrow it down fairly quickly. And that particular area has produced some really good structural stuff and things like that. It's a really neat area. It's really neat, and we're going to go further back and show Brian this one area. It's a pretty good hike to get further back, but it turns into like just an oak forest, and that's a really interesting area and stuff like that. So tomorrow we're gonna sit and just watch and listen. And I'll have the video running and just scanning and looking around and stuff like that. And I'll probably do that in short spurts, 5 or 10 minute spurts, just looking around and stuff like that. So we're going to spend a little bit of time out there and then, come back. There's an area that's not far from the camp area that I have found what I consider juvenile prints that I found both on 2 separate occasions. I found the same print both times. And what makes it interesting, it's in one of my videos, past videos, and it's in sugar sand, really white sand. And it's a perfect print. You see all the toes, everything. Now, the print itself is only about 4 or 5 inches long, but the heel is like 4 inches wide. You know what I mean? It's a very flat-footed, fat foot. It's a fat foot. Whoever, you know what I mean? So we're the only ones camping out here right now. We're the only ones. So, and nobody's been out here in 2 weeks because of the hurricane. So if we go in there tomorrow and find that print, that answers a lot of questions right there. And so I'm hoping 3's a charm. I find it 3 times in a row. So if I find that print or a similar print like that, because I found that juvenile print, like I said, 2 separate occasions out here. So we're going to check it out tomorrow, check that area out. So there's a lot of potential, you know what I mean? But
I'm curious to see if you find, I would love, and I hope you do, and if you do, you let me know as quick as you can, that you find at least a tree arch. I would love to see that.
Well, tomorrow I can go back and film that old one so y'all can get an idea of what we're talking about. It's a really good arch. And when the trail used to be there, it stuck out like a sore thumb the first time I went back there. So I went and checked it out and documented and everything in another video. We'll go back and document it again to get people up to date on this arch. It just surprised me that everything out there was literally destroyed. We found, it's just debris everywhere, like I said, you can't even find a trail. I mean, we're just walking through the woods where a trail used to be. So, so
I'm sorry I threw you off, guys. He puts out videos every day, so if you don't mind, go over to his channel. He's supposed to be trying to piggyback off this show tonight. We're hoping that it's on his channel, but in case it ain't, go over to Bigfoot Forest Giants, follow BFFG Research. You'll find him. You just type it in, and he's got all kinds of hiking videos. And what I mean by hiking, when he walks around in the Florida woods and stuff, you get to see scenery that you don't normally see. And he does a fantastic job. I'm gonna get him to teach me some stuff here pretty soon. But anyways, yeah, go over there. You'll catch all of his recent stuff that he's talking about tonight. It'll be on his channel, so y'all go over and check him out. I'm gonna leave that up for just a little bit. Richard, you go ahead.
The channel is actually BFFG Bigfoot Research.
Yeah.
If they go under that right there, they won't find the channel.
All right. You BFFG Bigfoot Research, right?
Yeah, BFFG Bigfoot Research. All one word if you want, but it doesn't matter. But BFFG Bigfoot Research. But yeah, I try to get out every weekend. Usually the only things that stop me is illness or weather. That's the only things that'll stop me from going out. So I try to get out every week, either a Saturday or a Sunday, never both, because I got things that I got to also do as an adult. And I do have a Monday through Friday job. Yep, that's it. That's the channel right there. BFFG, Bigfoot. Usually, if you just type in BFFG, it usually pops right up. So
Yeah.
I do get out every weekend, but at least 3 times a year. This is the second one so far this year. I'm going to try one more probably around Christmas. But that's when I get out, and I get out there for, like this time we're out there for 4 days. Yeah. 5 days, 4 nights or something like that. Yeah, it's 5 days, 4 nights. The other ones I'll be out there for 3 days. So we try to get out there. Is that Maria?
It says Marino.
Yeah.
It says hi.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. But
right.
anyways,
I got one too. Hi, Kim. She also is a sweetheart. Oh, Lord. While I'm doing that, let me go ahead. You go right ahead. I'm just going to post some of these guys up here. I usually run
so
a
this
pretty
is
good
just one of
chat board.
those. Yeah, this is just one of those opportunities where we're out here consecutive 24 hours out here doing what we're doing and stuff like that, and so it gives us an opportunity to do a lot more. I don't get to use my night vision stuff and my thermals very often, so these are the times I take these opportunities and stuff like that. And just to give people background, if they go back, and especially on podcasts, I've never really gone over it on my own particular channel, but the encounters I've had, they were also, sorry about that. These encounters were at this actual site that I'm at right now. The one where it touched the roof of my tent, and the other one where something was looking in my window of my tent. Same exact spot. I'm at the same location. So, and luckily this time there's nobody out here.
Yeah, he told me those stories right as it was getting dark.
Well, hey, what are friends for, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told Randy Harrington. He did this interview this week with this guy named Vito. Really interesting interview. And that's the first thing I sent him as, great, I had to listen to this interview and I'm going out in the woods tonight. You know what I mean? So yeah, not good at all.
I had him going a while ago, guys, myself. There was a star right over his left shoulder right there. You can't see it with the naked eye, but you could with the camera. So I got to pick it. You can see it twinkling around, you know what I mean?
Wow.
But I got to messing with it because poof, it disappeared. I said, "Uh-oh, that's an orb. That's an orb." I said, "Next thing you know, you're gonna have a little hand on you out on that shoulder there and jerk you around." He said,
Well,
"Don't tell me stuff like that."
Yeah, there was one time I was camped here and I was sitting in a chair and I was doing a YouTube live. And so the camera's facing me. I'm sitting in my chair by the fire and I'm looking past the camera because even though I'm doing a show, I'm constantly looking. Constantly, I'll hear something. Even right now, you'll see me turn because I'll hear something and and I want to look. And I was sitting in the chair and I saw in the distance this white light and it was going up and down like this. all the way across the sky. And I remember doing a video and I turned the camera around. I go, do you guys see that? I might have just saw my first orb. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was. It was pretty far away. So, but it was just interesting, just something to spice up the live at that moment.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I want you to show folks. 'Cause remember we done the equipment show. What was it, last Thursday?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay. And you mentioned that you had some little small stuff. I want people to see how well your lights are working. Uh, I don't know if you can show thermal or your vision. You know how the camera will react. Sometimes it's just a bright white. You can't really see anything. But I want you to explain to people what you're using tonight. And you already explained your audio. I'm telling you guys, you got to go back and watch his video from today of him stashing his audio. That was good, really good stuff. But before we do that, Richard wants to know, Josh wants to know, how's the algae blooms affecting the area you reach?
I'm not affected whatsoever. I haven't felt any allergy symptoms or anything like that. I don't know about Brian. I haven't had any algae issues. I'm not seeing any pollen or anything on my vehicles. So it's been non-existent. And mosquitoes haven't been bad either. There was a moment there they got bad and we sprayed ourselves down, but it don't seem
Just
bad
for
now.
about 15, 20 minutes, and then they kind of subsided a little bit.
Yeah. So, but other than that, when we went out in the woods today, mosquitoes weren't bad at all. They weren't an issue. So, so far it's been really nice to be out there. What was it? Was it last week I went out and I got ate up. I couldn't even breathe. There were so many mosquitoes. Totally different. Totally different today.
Is it cooler tonight? Is it cooler tonight?
It's I think tonight's lows. I don't know where it's at now. Probably in the 70s, but I think the overnight humidity is probably down to 50-something% or something like that. You can look it up.
I'll take a look.
But it feels great. There's a little bit of overcast. That's probably why you can't see the orb behind me, because I think some clouds have moved in. But other than that, today there was not a cloud in the sky for most of the day. It was just beautiful blue skies and just gorgeous, and it was a good day to get out. We just got a late start, but tomorrow we'll get an early start, and I'll get up probably about 6 a.m. and go shower and stuff like that, and then get some coffee in me, and then go out there and recover the audio, and then spend a little bit of time out there checking things out, videoing anything, that's the hard part is, like I said, we just had a pretty devastating hurricane. So anything that was there is gone. So anything that is there now would be new. I mean, within the last week or two. So it'd be interesting if we find something, Last week would have been a better week. We had a full moon. It was gorgeous out, same weather, just with a full moon. We don't have that luxury this time. We just don't have that luxury.
Yeah. Hey, Neil, I'm doing fine, brother. Glad to see you come on with us tonight. All right. Here's what I want you to do, Richard. I want you to, if you can, I'm going to put it all on you. Show your equipment, your lights, what you're doing tonight. And when I come back, I want to talk to, I got a question for you when I come back. And then I want to talk to Brian a little bit, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
And don't forget your battery pack.
Yeah. I got, this is one of the battery packs that I use right here. I have 2 of these. Right now I've got it hooked up to the phone so that we can get through this podcast without the batteries dying, because it does drain batteries pretty quick out here. So I have that one hooked up. I have 2 of those. That's able to get me through pretty much the whole time. Those 2 battery packs, I charge everything with those 2. You can't see them right now, but I have 2 little lights. They're about this big. They're just very small lights on a rope from tree to tree to give us some light over the table for this podcast and stuff like that. They're also rechargeable. I can plug them in and they'll be good to go again tomorrow. So what I'm going to have to wait till talk to Brian, and I'm going to go to my tent, and I'm going to get my night vision and the thermal, so y'all guys can look at that.
Nothing like throwing me under the bus.
Yeah. Talk about today.
Today we had a good time. We went out. Like Richard said, the trails were marked because there are blazes. They paint. In the old days, they would blaze trails by taking a hatchet and actually taking part of the bark off the tree. Obviously, we don't do that anymore, but they paint different colors, about the size of a dollar bill turned sideways, turned vertical, and they paint colors. So we were able to follow the trail back. It was amazing, though, because of all the leaf litter and stuff that had come down. The trails were essentially not there as far as to the eye. You could feel them when you walked on it. You could tell that it was hard packed ground and you were on the right trail, but to look for it, the leaves had just completely disguised it. So did you get your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, Richard's back with his equipment.
All right. So Let me get this turned on so you guys get an idea. Now, this is the thermal. And it's handheld. It's got multiple settings. I can see white heat, black heat, multicolored heat, different spectrums and stuff like that. I prefer white heat for some reason, but you can see, let's see if that camera will, I don't know.
Try pulling it toward us a little bit and see if it'll.
I don't know.
Nope. Yeah, you're getting a little bit of a picture now. There's a glare on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, so you could see this is on the multi-spectrum, so you can see the heat signature. And looking behind me, you can see the forest and stuff like that. So if anything happens back there, we'll be able to see it and stuff like that. It's kind of hard for me to not be in there, and I can't see the screen if I'm not in it, but you can see it. This thing also records like 200 and something thousand photos. It'll hold something like 200,000 photos, and also does video. So I don't know how much video, but it holds a lot, and it just plugs right into my computer. I download the information and go through it and watch it, and then put it out to you guys so you can guys see the thermals and stuff like that. Now, the night vision is really, really, really cool. Give me a second and I'll get that turned on and set up. You guys should be able to see
Your other one?
the Psionics.
Yeah.
No.
I'll go grab mine. It's right out of the truck. I know, right?
I have multiple. I have a Psionics and I have the Akaso. I'm going to turn this light on, guys, so I can see the power button. If there's a battery in here. Wait a minute. Give me a second, because I didn't know we were doing equipment again. So, but I really like this piece of equipment, and I look forward to using this. So you see it's turning on now. Shut this light off. All right, so. All right, I don't know if you guys. But if you could see it, it's really hard.
Pull back just a little bit. Pull back. Pull back. Oh, right in. You're getting close. Now, is that the black and white? Yeah, I can see the trees behind you now.
Yeah. So you see the forest behind us. And this is night vision. It has a lot of different settings. I'm trying to.
Richard, what I'm curious about, when you cut on the, you've got the color version at the beginning, and then you've got a black and white, which usually works better if it's not a lot, if there's no moon and stuff. Can you show me the first setting, the IR0, and let me see if I can see a red light?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to find the modes. I don't know. I got to play with it.
I can show them this. This is the
But
other.
if you can see what I'm seeing, man, this thing is pretty amazing. Um, okay, that's.
You want me to show them this
I
one?
think it's on it. That's IR0, but it's not the color mode. But there's no. Do you see an infrared light? Because that's no infrared whatsoever, and I've got amazing. I mean, look at that, and there's no IR light whatsoever.
Yep.
It's amazing.
I think what he wants to see is if he can see the infrared emitter.
Right, and there's not one on this one. I'm pointing it right at you.
Yeah,
I'm
There's
looking.
when you
I
turn
see.
it on, I think is
Now,
what
what are you looking at? No, raise up just a little bit more. All right, there's a okay. It might be the wait. Hang on just a second. Let me take that
it's
off.
re-
Let me see.
it's reflecting the camera, the video,
Yeah,
but
let me take that off now and do it again. Let me make sure. Yeah, that's
there's
what it
no
was.
IR light.
Okay, I just
There's
wanted
no
to make
IR light.
sure.
But
That
this is I've got it on the black and white mode, but it's no IR. It says IR0.
well, yeah,
Um,
and you know why I'm asking this because it does a very good job just on zero, and you know they say that Bigfoot or whatever can see IR. I'm wondering if it's emitting at that particular point. Now I know it would at IR1. I know that for a fact. Hey Joanne, glad to see you, honey.
I'm
I'm just
trying to
wondering.
get it on. I'm trying to get it on IR1. See,
You
I
have to
got it
hold.
on color right now.
Yeah,
This and you don't see an IR light. I'm trying to get it on IR1,
yeah. It's I
but it
think
keeps
it's that
going.
plus.
All it's doing is going from color to. It's
All
staying
right,
in the IR0 mode.
all right. Get it in the IR0. Now hit the plus and hold it.
I don't have a plus. There it
There it
is.
is.
There it is.
See the IR light?
Yeah,
That's
So
IR1.
yeah.
so that must
It,
be
So I can see really good because it's blaring an IR light. So
mm-hmm.
you can see that IR light where we can't see it at all. But
Exactly.
you can see it because you can see it. See what I'm saying? But if I go
so I can't see that from the front. Not as bright, but
right,
it's
not
visible.
like that. See what I'm
No, it's
saying?
It
not
is.
that.
So Bigfoot can see that light, it might give you away.
Yeah,
But you can see it.
if it's a mitten out there in the woods, you know.
Right. Let me so right
Yeah.
now I'm making it brighter and brighter and brighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get it back to 0.
You'll have to go the other way.
I am. That was all the way up to 7. Now watch that light.
There we
Gone.
go.
And
Yeah, that's
I can still see perfectly through this thing. I mean, I
that's
can see
my
my car. Right now we're sitting here. We can't see my car from here. And my car is what, 30 feet away?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see my car. I put this, I can see my car, and that's no IR.
Yep.
None whatsoever.
and that's
You
what I
know?
was curious about. You know, I know people, you know, why we do these kind of shows on equipment and stuff, but you got to put two and two together. If Bigfoot can see IR and you've got a night vision camera or night vision goggles like those, the color is great, and it really, guys, it's amazing what they've done with it.
Oh,
But
that color is awesome.
if there is no light whatsoever, you have to use IR0
Right.
because otherwise it basically looks like kind of like a snowy blue screen because it can't pick up no light. If he cuts on a flashlight, boom, there's all your color. You know,
Right.
but if you don't want to do that, you want to use your IR0. You're not emitting a IR light, and that's the great thing about this particular uh, piece of
Yeah,
equipment.
because the very first setting is no IR, full color. Now, if I have the moon out,
Yeah,
I can
like
tell
you
you what
wanted.
color. I can tell you what color shirt you're wearing at 100 yards.
Absolutely.
Then IR0, which is black and white, but still you don't have an IR light, which is fantastic. You don't get into the IRs where you saw the light until you get to IR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you have all these settings for whatever conditions that you're in. I really, really like the Akaso. It also records video, sound,
Hmm.
and pictures. So I really like this thing a lot. And that screen is so big, I don't hold it to my eyes. I can hold it way out here and look over and look around, and I never lose my night vision. You know what I mean? Where I have a psionics, he's going to show you the psionics. I have the psionics, but you do have to hold it to your eye. So after looking around for a minute and you put it down, you can't see anything out that eye.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
know.
mean?
Trust me.
So
Trust me.
Here's, I don't know how well you can see this, but this is a psionics, and let's see if I can get you a view. I don't know if I can.
I think the camera is like right here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, he had it. There we go.
So you can't really see it too well because the opening is so small.
You got the cap on? Or?
Yeah, no, it's off.
Okay.
But I can look back. I can see all the way to the horizon in color with this. And what I like about this is I ordered an eye cup for it. And you're right, you do lose your night vision. So I've always, and this is an old military trick, I always use it in my non-aiming eye, my left eye.
Mm-hmm.
And using the eye cup, it keeps it from casting a light on your face that could give you away. If you can, and that has to be covered up. I usually cover up that little blinking light with electrical tape. But there's the cup, and we're not in good light here, but there's a cup.
We can make good light.
Oh, there we go. Ooh, talk about losing your night vision. But it has an eye cup on it that seals against your face, and it keeps the light from leaking out and giving you your position away. If that is an issue.
I like that. Yeah, you get rid of the light from leaking out. And with guys like us, we wear glasses. It helps us to have that big screen now. Is it going to reflect off our glasses? Yeah, that's just a chance we have to take.
Oh, yeah. And that's what we went over last week is all the equipment that I have, and I got a lot of equipment. None of it is the tell-all, do-all. It just isn't.
See, and that's the thing. Yeah.
There's plus and minuses for every single piece of equipment. Every single thing. Like my thermal is great. You're not going to hide from me. I'm going to spot you if you're moving, but it doesn't record sound. See what I'm saying? So when I record whatever it is, there's no sound to it. That's the downfall of my thermal. Where like with the night vision or, the Akaso and stuff like that, it records sound. It records everything. But you have that option of the glare, the night vision issue if you use it improperly and you blind yourself. Because I've done it. I've gone out there. I have a Seymour or a psionics like his, and I'll use it, but I can only use it for a couple minutes at a time because I need that eyesight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it definitely disrupts that.
Yeah, you got to be really careful to only expose one eye at a time and to protect. Like I'm very careful of protecting my right eye, so that I can close my left eye and still be able to have somewhat of night vision.
All right, I'm going to step in right here. Joanne, I'm so glad to see you. I have had you on my mind lately.
Is that Joe Actis?
No, that's Joanne Glass. Yeah, she's an Alabama fan.
No, I'm thinking William Athis.
Oh, no, you're talking, yeah. No, Mr. Athis, no, I haven't seen him on here tonight. But anyways, I wanted to say hi to her because I haven't heard anything from her lately, and I always worry about her. She's a good lady. But anyways, now I'm going to say this much on the thermal. Yeah, I showed you guys last week on my thermal, and there was a reason behind it. Now, I hope all this is making sense to you guys now. What's going on? And like he says, some things good for this, some things good for that. Neil will tell you. I'll tell you, I had a thermal on my camera, and the reason I like that is, yeah, I'm still going to get reflection on my glasses no matter what. But I can hold it out there and hold it in front of me like that and just scan, and it wouldn't affect my night vision. However, when I did pick up a critter out there, and especially this raccoon that was there, and I had it in black and white, it shined almost like a dadgum flashlight out there. That's how the temperature was, and I could only barely see the tail, and I seen that it was somewhat fluffy, and I said, okay, that's got to be a raccoon. Well, I had my night vision, my Seymour, set up on a tripod, so I wouldn't lose my night vision, and I would just go back and look at it, and sure enough, that way I could verify what I was looking at. It could have been a possum, it could have been something else, we don't never know. But that was a good verification of what we were looking at, was what I was getting at. So sometimes multiple equipment is necessary in these kind of things.
Yeah, because you'll find yourself in a situation and you're like, okay, this isn't working. I got to switch to something else. And it's nice to have that in your bag of goodies that you can switch over to something else and stuff like that. That's why I said not everything is a tell-all. Um, you gotta practice. You gotta find different things that work for you. Every situation is different. Like I said, thermal in Florida isn't as great as it is up north. Uh, because especially in the summertime here, it's so hot and it stays hot all night long. If I use my thermal, it looks like the forest is on fire. There's just so much heat. And because things don't cool off quickly around here. So
Hmm.
we usually don't use thermal till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when things actually finally cool down. Um, so a lot of times we just bypass thermal altogether and just stick to night vision or stuff like that. Um, but once the temperatures cool down, it gets into 50s or whatever, the upper 40s. Things cool down a lot and cool down quickly once the sun goes down. Thermal's fantastic. See what I'm saying? The great thing about thermal is, and we were talking about this earlier, there's a tree right here, and I stood behind the tree acting like a Sasquatch, like looking over it, looking to the side, checking things
Hmm.
out. And then I told him, and we could actually do that tonight, and show y'all where if it's behind a tree and it's touching the tree and you go towards it and it takes off, his heat signature's still on that tree.
Hmm.
He can't hide that. So now you have footprints on the ground, you got handprints on the tree, or even his torso touches the tree, you're going to see this massive heat signature on the tree. That's where thermal is fantastic. He got away, but you got proof now that you can document and record that there was definitely something standing behind this tree. You can
Hmm.
almost get an idea of height, width, different things like that. You know what I mean? Where night vision just says you can see at night. I can still duck behind a bush, I duck behind a tree. You can't see me. Night vision will not let you see me with an obstacle in front of me, where thermal kind of helps with that. You know what I mean? If I'm behind a very thin bush, you know what I mean? You'll see my heat signature through that bush. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Or if I sat down somewhere and I stood up and walked away, you're going to see my butt imprint on the ground.
Hmm.
So thermal is the way to go. I'm a big supporter of thermal. I think thermal is,
I am too.
and every year it gets better and better and better. Akaso
Hmm.
definitely took night vision to a different level. Um, but thermal is where it's at. And now this camera, it comes in this case right here. It's handheld. It's easy to use and stuff. Um, but it's $500 just for this thing. See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So stuff gets expensive. Um, we got lucky on that Caso. You got lucky on it. I got lucky on it because we
Hmm.
got in on the ground floor on that deal. A Caso might be $800 next year. See what I'm saying?
It might.
Um, it could.
It's still relatively cheap right now.
Yeah. So, um, but that's what we went over last week was equipment and how you can save money. Um,
Oh,
you can get out there and do the basics with inexpensive stuff. You know what I mean? Now, some things I wouldn't go too inexpensive on, like night vision and stuff like that, because you
phone.
want to be able to capture what you're looking for. You don't
Don't
want to
don't go
get
cheap
something.
on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Phone. That's because we talk about that. The number
Hmm.
one thing to take out in the woods is your phone because it records video, it takes photographs, and it has a fantastic video or audio recorder. You know what I mean?
And you can
Hmm.
navigate.
Yep. You can navigate. You can download a compass. You can download different things. There's things you could do with a phone. So to me, don't go cheap on the phone.
Mm.
The phone I have right now is 2.5 years old. It's the
Yeah.
S22 Ultra, and it is fantastic. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I don't even need binoculars. I can zoom in 100 times. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And look at something and take a photograph of it or a picture of it or stuff like that. Now, I keep saying photograph. I'm not a big fan of photographs. You know
No.
that, Tommy. We talk about it. I'm not a big fan of photographs. People send me stuff all the time and say, "Hey, I took this picture. Check it out." Pictures are the worst thing. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
it's done. We're done with pictures because there's way too much pareidolia. a lot of pareidolia. We did one today. We're sitting at the tent and I said, hey, look, there's a Sasquatch looking at us right there. And he saw what I saw, and it literally looked like a face looking out of some palmettos, but it wasn't. And I looked at him, I said, that's some damn good pareidolia right there. If somebody would have taken a photograph and somebody would have taken a photograph of that and sent it in and say, hey, I saw this Bigfoot and he was poking me out of the tree. And then they create some kind of narrative story around it and stuff like that. Well, a picture's two-dimensional. That's all you got. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Video is where it's at. Everybody watching the show, everybody may watch the show later. I'm telling you, video is where it's at. You need to catch whatever you're looking at in motion. Okay? Make it move if you have to. Throw something at it, walk towards it. But once that thing starts moving, now you know you got something.
Your
now
orb's
you know
moving.
you got something. You know?
Your orb is moving.
Oh, it is back a little bit.
Well, that's a plane. That's a plane. That's a plane. You know, it's a UFO about to drop off a Bigfoot. Oh my God. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there.
Yeah, that one's in motion.
All right.
Oh, it disappeared. Oh crap.
Here comes that hand on that shoulder. I tell you, we're not going to sleep tonight.
Oh, I'm going to sleep just fine.
Can y'all link up to a satellite infrared?
No.
I have no clue.
First of all, don't know what that is.
It's a satellite infrared. Come on, Richard.
Second of all is no, and it sounds expensive. I've got, with everything combined, I've got a couple $1,000s easy in equipment and camping equipment and everything that we got, because when you come out here, you got to be as comfortable as you can. Research sucks if you're uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, get away from air mattresses, buy a cot, get a cot. They're a lot more comfortable, and you can sit up and put your britches on. See what I'm saying? That's why I got a bigger tent. Don't go out and get the little pup tents. Get a bigger tent because it's nothing like putting on your britches standing up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'll pay the money for comfort, but there's deals out there. Y'all saw in the video. If y'all go back and look at yesterday's video where I set up my tent and everything, it's really funny because that portion of the video is 2 minutes or something like that. It only took me actually 10 minutes to put my tent up. That was it. It's very quick, very easy. It's 6.5 feet in height on the inside. You know what I mean? It's a 13 by 9 foot tent. It's very large. So it's all about comfort.
If I remember right, Brian's about 6'4", so does his head stick out the top end of that tent? Like
no, he can stand in it.
I don't know for sure. I haven't tried it, but
he can stand in it. He can stand in it.
No jumping jacks for him.
But and it's a $300 tent that I paid $75 for. Yeah. You know what I mean? You go to Marketplace, you go to eBay, you go to these places where people are getting rid of stuff they just don't use anymore. They just want to make a little bit of money. You'll find great deals. There's no reason to break the budget to do this. Okay. Now, we're not getting sponsorships. There's not universities funding us. This is all out of pocket. And I don't want to see somebody go out there and get themselves in debt because they want to get a loan to buy a $3,500 pair of night vision. See what I'm saying? There's stuff out there that will meet your needs and it will fall in your budget. Don't kill yourself doing this. You know what I mean? And this is stuff I've accumulated for years, just slowly but surely start accumulating stuff. And it's trial and error. I've had smaller tents, and I just fell in love with a larger tent. I'm so much more comfortable. And in the video, you see, I sleep on a cot. I'm off the ground. I don't feel the cold temperature of the ground. I have a place to sit down. I have a chair. I can put my boots on. Comfort's everything. I've had the small dome tents, and I'm a fat guy as far as I'm concerned. People say I'm not fat, but I'm fat. And rolling around on the ground trying to put on a pair of britches, it ain't fun. You know what I mean?
No,
that's a YouTube channel all by itself. You know what I mean? Let's see how long it takes.
Well, they
the
call
fat
that
guy to
epic
put his
fail.
britches on. You know?
Oh Lordy. Man, this guy's the most important thing. He's out in the woods.
I'm out here.
He's having a good time camping. You're gonna have a good time camping. I don't care what you're doing. But yeah, you're out there with what I call, and same story with me. I call it cheaper electronics, but it's up to date modern electronics.
Yeah.
My thermal is $400. I can also record sound with mine. That's just one feature that is
Well, it's
available
because
to me.
yours is through the phone and it has its own mic. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but most thermals just don't do sound, and if they do,
Yeah,
they're a little bit more expensive. You know what I
yep, they
mean?
are. You're looking
Um,
at seven, eights, and thousands, and I mean, we both actually know people that have more expensive equipment. I
oh,
can't afford that
absolutely.
kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I got a researcher I've gone out with a couple of times, has one of the most amazing night vision. He has it
Hmm.
on a pod that he can hold up, but he's got this huge iPad that he's watching everything on. This setup is expensive and it is nice, but it doesn't record sound.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I mean, I can always, when I edit the video, put my voiceover and to explain what I'm looking at, explain what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Um, but in itself, it's not going to record the sounds out there, where the night vision does. Night vision does have audio and stuff like that, and takes pictures and video and stuff. So it's night vision is good, but like I said, you just like daytime, you're waiting for this thing to step out in the open, even
Hmm.
with night vision, to actually see it.
Hmm.
Um, but
Well, you're
with
hoping to hear
thermal,
something auditory and then get it over and hopefully you see something. I trust me, I tried that. Didn't work out.
yeah. Well, I tell people I'm not a big fan at all about once the sun goes down, tromping through the woods, breaking brush
Mm-mm.
at
Mm.
nighttime.
Nope.
Especially in the state of Florida, there's a lot of things out there that would do you harm. You know what I mean? And if you're not running a thermal or something like that, especially thermal, that's really probably the only thing that's going to alert you that there's something ahead of you. The problem with thermal is depth perception. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, Things are a lot closer to you than you think they are.
Yeah. I
And
know.
and it and it happened to me last time I was out here, where I saw what looked to me was something was knelt down on the side of the road. It was just something just sticking up on the side of the road, and it was brighter than everything around the forest. And I got closer and closer to it as I'm filming it, and I thought I was probably 50 yards from it, 30 to 50 yards, somewhere in that range. So when I removed the thermal to look and I put my flashlight on it, I was like 20 feet from it. So if it was something to do me harm, I walked
Jeez.
right into it.
Yeah,
So
you're already there.
yeah, so you got to really, really understand the depth perception that you have on these cameras and stuff and what is real life.
Hmm. I don't know why that just popped up. It's something from you,
What's that?
BFFG. Well, hang on, I'll tell you what it popped up. Looks like one of your videos, Bigfoot research hiking. Hopefully, I went while I was gone and looked at my phone. I don't think you did pair, so just to let you know,
Yeah.
I looked it up. So, anyways, all right, we've been on here for an hour. So before we get off here tonight, I want to talk to Brian.
All right. He's walked away for a moment.
Oh, what is he doing?
None of your business. None of your business.
Nothing,
None of my
nothing you
business.
want,
There's a benefit of being a dude in the woods.
nothing you want to see on camera. That's for sure.
Okay, Brian. So, Brian, what's your background in Bigfoot research or whatever you try to do? What is your
I've
background in it?
I've been kind of doing investigations for, it's probably going on 3 years now. I
Hmm.
had an encounter, and it's really too much to go into because
Right.
we've been on here a long time, but basically when I was hiking the Florida Trail, I had an encounter, and I kind of pushed it out of my mind. I tried to explain it away, saying, it might have been a hunter in a ghillie suit or whatever, basically because if I had come to grips with what I thought I saw, that would probably have been the end of my hike. I'm not going to continue to roam around in the woods with something like that, knowing it's there. And so I kind of just, I know it sounds crazy, but I was able to kind of like just push that away and segregate it in my mind as something else. Um, and then I had an incident that occurred that basically brought that memory back up right in front of me, almost like it was happening right then again. And it caused me to start thinking about it and wanting to look into it. And so that's pretty much where I am now. I have I guess you'd call it a brand. My channel, which I haven't gone public with yet, is Observations from the Swamp. And the swamp is the Southeast Wood Ape Monitoring Project. And that kind of goes back to my grandfather because he called them wood boogers. So I didn't know if anybody would take that name seriously. So I kind of split the difference and made it into a wood ape. But that's kind of a throwback to him. And basically, I've got a lot of video that I need to sort through and edit and get together. I've got a video on pareidolia that is almost finished, and it was an actual event that happened, and the whole debunking process. And there was another incidence of pareidolia while we were debunking the first one. So it's a pretty good catch, and I'm able to, what do I need to do? Touch this?
Yeah, just touch it.
Okay, there we go. It shows how easily you can get caught up in this stuff if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we deal with the most is pareidolia. I mean, we deal with that on a daily basis.
Every day.
But yeah, I've got a little research area that in Tampa where there's what they call the corridor in Florida, the wildlife corridor, where theoretically animals can move all the way down from the Everglades through the state all the way up into Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia.
Really?
And there are areas because of the developments where it gets really narrow. And so I'm concentrating in an area that's only like a mile wide. So my theory is that if these things are there and if they are moving, they have to go through that area. And so it gives me a much smaller area to concentrate, efforts and resources and, audio and trail cams and stuff like that. And had some encouraging stuff, footprints and some auditory stuff. But no pictures yet.
No video.
No video yet. Nope.
10 seconds. That's all Richard wants.
That's all we need.
That's all I want.
Right. A crystal clear video.
That's what I tell them. I say it all the time.
I'll take 5. I will take
I tell
5.
it all. I say it all the time. I said Sasquatch is very selfish. Very selfish.
Spencer has asked several good questions, and I'm gonna hit just one or two guys real quick.
Yeah, let's answer some questions. Knock us out.
Just asking, does your thermal show cold-blooded snakes?
I've never tried to look for snakes.
It will if you're I don't know about Richard's. I've never used one of that type. I've got one that is of the scope type. I don't know if you can see it. Mine will show it because it doesn't necessarily have to be a hot spot. It just has to be a difference in temperature. It shows like temperature gradient. So if they could both be cold, but if one is colder than the other, then the outline should show up.
Yeah, and if it starts doing like a little wiggly thing, yeah.
Well, that would be a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Just remember, things are closer than what they appear. Okay.
Well, Kerry Arnold, my buddy, Kerry Arnold, made one of the best quotes ever, and it's always stuck with me. You're looking for Sasquatch till you find a snake.
Think
about that.
Good.
Now for the rest of the night, that's what you're looking for is snakes because you saw one. You know what I mean? So I try to ignore them.
All right. The second one was fingers or fist, and I don't know exactly what he meant by that, but anyway. And this is really, really good question right here. How does y'all's research change during the hurricane season?
It changes a lot because you got to disregard a lot of evidence. You know what I mean? We have a lot of blown down trees. And, I know people, and you've heard me say it, Tommy, we've had conversations about this in the past. I am not big on crosses or anything like that, because any two sticks, two trees, whatever you want to call fall, they're always
Mm-hmm.
going to form an X, a T, or an L. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with a hurricane, you find a lot of that. So it's hard to determine what made it, or if it was made, or if it was Mother Nature. You have to disregard a lot of that stuff. In the times that we don't have bad weather in Florida, which is a lot, we have great weather for most of the year, we find these sticks shoved into the ground. Well, today we found sticks shoved
Mm-hmm.
into the ground, but we have to disregard them because a hurricane could have done that. You know what I mean? Because we're
Mm-hmm.
not talking a regular day. At a best, a windy day here is 15 to 20 mile per hour winds is not going to do that. The tree branch will break and fall to the ground, but it's not going to stab into the ground, go through the leaf litter, and end up in the soil. But now you're looking at 75, 80 mile per hour winds, gusts even higher. We have to disregard those things now. You know, it's got to be something very, very distinct to catch my attention at this time.
Well, I would
And that
think it
might
would be.
be that way for the next year. I don't know.
I think a hurricane, if there's any such a thing as a good thing in a hurricane, the only thing that I see beneficial out of the hurricane is that it wipes the slate clean, like we had talked about earlier. So now,
Right,
if you
Yes.
find a
Yeah.
footprint, it's within a week or so.
right.
If you find like a tree arch or anything else, that any kind of evidence that you can see visual wise or of a physical nature will be fresh. Now, that's the only thing, if you want to call a benefit out of a hurricane, and I don't mean, you know what I'm saying. I wish it didn't have none at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like that arch today. I didn't expect to see that arch there. And
And you
I
know it's
came
an
out
Oakland.
and I came out last week, and some of the older archers that I have had in the past are gone. But this one, it's kind of like that idea in my head that if you're going to build something, you build it to last. See what I'm
Hmm.
saying? This might have been built because it lasted. It went through a hurricane. It's still green growth. Whatever made it did not kill this tree. So a lot of people say, well, it acts naturally because trees get disease and all that. This arch has been there for a year and a half, and
Hmm.
it is still green.
And it's not pinned down.
It's not pinned down. It's it's just weird. It's just a weird arch, but it survived. It survived easily. I mean, it looks like almost to the day I found it originally. There's some extra vines and stuff that's growing around the base, but other than that, it's the same thing. It's always been there. So
Now, what's y'all's I don't want to say assumption or whatever you want to call it on what I call a lot of people call them structures like a TP.
I haven't come across anything like that.
Okay.
I found something similar where there was just three large.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, they were good. Each one was about 10 feet tall and leaned up against this tree, around this tree, which was odd. And I documented it. That's the closest thing I found, but I'm not finding like TP structures and stuff like that, And the ones
Hmm.
I'm seeing on they're just awkward. It's kind of hard to tell, you know.
Okay.
T When I find one, I'm gonna have to do a real serious investigation on it to see what I come up with. You know what I mean?
One
I'm
of the areas that I research is you have to be really careful because there's a group of people that go out into this area and they do bushcraft type stuff. And they
yeah.
actually build primitive shelters. And as those shelters decay and fall apart, they can take on the appearance of something that might have been hastily constructed by something else.
Hmm.
Um, the only TP I've ever seen that really impressed me was one that was made out of living trees. And probably 20 to 30 years ago,
Hmm.
these trees were leaned into each other without completely exposing the roots, just partially exposing the roots. And they were all leaned together. And this teepee was probably 30 foot tall. And I can't imagine that anything could have leaned the size of trees they were if they were mature. I mean, these are really good sized trees. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures here. I didn't even think about it. I could have maybe gotten one for you if I'd have known about it in advance. But um, these are very substantial trees, and they must have been pushed together when they were young, and they just continued to grow. And that's the only one I've ever seen that really caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody could show me a video of a Bigfoot making a teepee or any other structure, I'd be a lot more open to it, you know. But I'm still at the point where I'm trying to prove they exist, not for myself, but
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
sure I do. Yeah,
And
yeah.
to
It's not
me, a
something
lot of
that you got to
people,
prove to yourself. It's something that you just got to see again and
right,
hope
and
and bring people with you.
a lot of people to me are on step 985, where we're studying behaviors and attributes
Mm-hmm.
and determining everything about these creatures, but actually we're still on step one. You know, we got to prove they exist.
Yep.
Dude, I saw a video the other day where a guy slept with one already. So
Well,
a
Oh,
lot of progress. A lot of progress is being made. A lot of
now
progress.
this is why I left this question up here. Have y'all determined that Bigfoot families come back to Florida after a hurricane? They fly, man.
Yeah.
They fly.
they,
I,
I
I,
seen
I,
a crazy picture of today. Bigfoot being flown out by a helicopter out of the what was the hurricane Elena? It was.
mhm.
yeah, but all
How
you
good is
see
it?
is all you see
It's
is this long thing. It's not
it's
like there's arms flailing and legs flailing. It's just this long thing. It could be anything. So
Yeah, the only other thing I could add to the that question before about the hurricane changing, you know, the type of research and investigation is the flooding, the actual flooding. There are a lot of areas where I'm at that it's technically not legal to go into. So you have to get creative and find access points where you don't have to walk by a no trespassing sign, you know, that kind of stuff, where you at least still have plausible deniability. Um, so that's the main thing. And until the rivers go down, a lot of the areas, the lowland areas where I haunt.
well, here's my question. We're ate up with deer. Where did the deer go during the hurricane?
mm-hmm.
They survived also.
Yep.
They survived. Bears survived. Panthers survived. You know,
Even the birds.
I filmed a turtle. It's on one of the videos.
I
There's
seen
ways
it.
that these animals survive. They survive. This is nothing new to them. See what I'm
Hey,
saying?
real
So
question. Y'all are in Florida. What's the difference in a homeless person leaving a trail to their camp versus a Bigfoot doing
because at the end of their trail, there's meth needles and tents.
it?
Not always.
They're
Dang
close
good
strung up.
answer. Dang good answer. But I know what he's asking. I know what he's asking.
Well, it's the same thing when we get out there. We have to determine what was a
Yeah.
possible Sasquatch walking through, or is it a normal game trail for other animals?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And from what I understand, and I don't know if this answers it for him, but usually a well-used Bigfoot trail is usually wider.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
That would
anyways,
make sense.
Well, you'll
yeah.
see branches up a higher level broken off, or you know what I mean, where it's a deer trail. It's like a tunnel. You know,
Hmm.
they can. It's only a deer with his head up is what 4 feet. You know what I mean? So they don't need a lot of room, and they're very narrow. And deer are very narrow, so they don't need a lot. But if you find a really good trail, look at the trees that line that trail and see if the branches are broken, because it's going to have to move those branches out of the way and break them off to get through back and forth. If they use trails all the time, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. If they
You know,
have a main trail. Yeah. And
right?
and I try to tell people when I first started doing this, it always made sense to me. If you're 7 foot tall, 8 foot tall, whatever size you are, going through the woods, you bound to rub a tree sooner or later with a branch on it. If that
Yeah,
sucker is broke sideways, and what I mean, like if this is the branch sticking out and you come through, it's going to snap sideways. Now, yeah, it may fall this way, but
Right.
that first initial break is going to be sideways. That may tell you something. That may be another indicator of a trail. Oh, we got bird freezing. All right. Yeah, guys, y'all got anything else for tonight? It's kind of running up on my bedtime. I know y'all on vacation. Y'all don't care.
Well, you get tired earlier when you're camping out too. When it gets dark, it starts getting sleepy time. It's not like at home.
Well, seriously, you guys got anything else for tonight?
no, no. If anybody doesn't have any questions or anything like that, this is the last chance to ask it. But other than that, like I said, for the rest of the night, we'll be around the camp area, scanning the areas, scanning the woods, using multiple pieces of equipment to see what we find and stuff like that. Again, everybody be on the lookout. Go to BFFG Bigfoot Research. I'm trying to put out a video each day of the events that we did that day and go over what we may do the following day. And stuff like that. Like tonight, there's a podium out here. They built this podium, and it overlooks the scrub oak area. So it's a nice undercover thing that you can stand under, scan the area with night vision and stuff like that, and see if something happens. It's an area that last Thanksgiving there were 2 Class A sightings on Thanksgiving. So,
What up? What new? I had to throw that in there.
No, wasn't me. Wasn't me. I found out about it like 3 or 4 days later, and I really kicked myself in the butt that I didn't find out sooner, because I would have been out there right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah, I got you. Brian, would you do me a favor, and when you do come on with your channel, let Richard know so he can tell us, so we can all come check you out and
Sure.
see all the good things you're trying to do over there.
Sure. That's not a problem. I would appreciate that greatly.
Yep, we would love to follow and see what you're doing. But anyways, thanks for coming on, being the show with us tonight. Richard, you always know it's always fun with you, and I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And these are my. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it was great to finally meet the Iceman, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Hell yeah!
Oh Lord, he's still not convinced. This is my guy. I mean, there is not a better man in this world than this guy right here, Spencer. But he's a skeptic.
Well, you know how I feel about skeptics. You heard what I said about that.
Tell him.
Skeptics, everybody, even myself, that truly 100% believes in this thing, you have to be skeptic. You have to be not skeptic on does it exist or not, but it's also good to have a healthy skepticism of the evidence, so you can look at it and try to debunk it first before you come to any other conclusions. Or if somebody brings you evidence, you need to go into it with a skeptical sense, so you come into it with the idea that this may be something else that I'm looking at here. So skepticism is okay, because you've heard me say it. Skepticism creates questions. Questions create answers, and that's what we need in this field. We're trying to get the answers.
And it doesn't hurt to have what I call good peers that you trust that'll help you along also.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. And I've got a pretty good network. So,
and if your evidence is good, it's going to stand up to skepticism. It's good to have people question you.
Yeah.
Yep, it's sure, and that's why whatever Richard will tell you, Brian. I don't know if you've seen any of my stuff. I throw it out there as is. And let y'all make a decision, just like Richard. Now, I could make my own assumptions, so that's just my own opinion. But I throw it out there. I don't hide nothing. You ask, I tell. I do not.
That's great.
Well, that's, and I've always said that if anybody goes to my channel, it's a lot of fun because I do shorts with music and stuff like that. But it's the videos I want people to really pay attention to, because I'm out in the field. You may see something, you may catch something I never caught. That's happened to me twice. That has happened to me 2 times, where somebody went in, zoomed in, slowed things down and said, "Oh my God," and then sent it to me. And I'm like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I've seen
you know
those
what I mean? So I let people, I'm all for you going through my videos and finding things if you find something that you think is significant. See what I'm saying? But I tell people all the time that I go out there, I'm just an investigator. I'm just trying to find the answers. You know what I mean? That's it. And for almost 400 videos on my channel, and not one time have I called anything a Bigfoot. Not one time. Because I just present the evidence. It's all I do. I say, look at this, check this out. What do you think? You tell me. See what I'm saying? Because I want my subscribers to come up with what they think it is. I don't want, if I say it is, then I feel like I'm imprinting that onto you. See what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I want your opinion as well. So I'll tell you it's interesting, or I'll tell you this. I found footprints that there is no doubt that's a footprint, but I
Mm-hmm.
still won't call it a Bigfoot yet because I didn't see what left the print.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom
That,
line. I didn't see it.
there goes
It's a
your
weird
there
print.
goes your 10-second video.
Yeah.
Yep. I was 10 seconds too late.
You're 10 seconds too late.
You know,
All right. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Again, this was really fun. I enjoyed it. We may try to do something again later on this weekend if you want to. That's up to you. And I know you're going to be busy, you and Brian. So, anyways, thank you, guys. I enjoyed it. You got anything else you want to say?
Just want to thank you for having me on here, and it was great meeting you. And I'd like
Thank you.
to thank everybody that was in the comments section, because they're what the shows are really all about. So
They
appreciate them showing up too.
yep. So I tell all my subscribers, I tell them all the time, thank you for subscribing. I make it about you, and I just wish the best for all my subscribers. I tell them every week, God bless you, and you know, I lose some every week and I gain some every week. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're
So
holding steady.
you know,
You're
well, I'm
doing good.
holding steady right now. I'd like to see it grow some more. I haven't had a growth spurt in a while, but I appreciate them so much. You know what I mean? And I don't want them to everything. I'm very open. If you go to
Mm-hmm.
BFFG Bigfoot Research at gmail.com, ask me questions. You know what I mean? Send something. That's how I met Brian is, somebody hit me up and said, hey, can I go out with you? I'm always open. You know what I mean? The more people out there doing this, the more people learning and getting out there, the better the chances of finding this thing.
Mm-hmm. At least get out there in the woods. Get out there.
Got to get off the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get off the couch.
Yep. That's what I
And
say.
in the end, if you don't get anything, you had a good time. You went camping.
Yep.
You were in nature. Today's video, you'll see I put some native or nature photos. I caught some great photos of some deer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just Bigfoot. You're out there enjoying life.
Yeah. Until you hear that growl and hear something go sound like King Kong walking through the woods.
Again, Tommy,
Yeah.
some of us have to sleep tonight.
Listen to the footsteps, brother. Listen to the footsteps. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Again, thanks, guys. Thanks everybody for coming and seeing us tonight. Thanks for watching the show. And y'all come back next Thursday. I'm hoping Wayne will be back next Thursday and to try to get Val on to do some Halloween type stuff for Bigfoot show. So, anyways, y'all guys come back, come see us, and everyone have a good night. Y'all take care of yourselves.